Dijonai Carrington is looking around the room like, oh my God, I've never been in this much fire. I mean, it's getting so bad that now her endorsements are potentially about to pull out on representing Dijonai Carrington.
This just goes to show that Dijonai has no self-awareness in what's going on. Dijonai Carrington runs on threads immediately. White privilege at Indiana Fever. White privilege. You running around with blonde hair. It looked like you trying to be white. It looked like you trying to be a white girl. What are you talking about, white privilege? The white girl just got a technical foul for something she didn't even do. What are you talking about, white privilege, bro? This is why she should be banned from the league. They always run.
It states here, Reebok is reportedly dropping their endorsement for Dijonai Carrington after she attacked Sophie Cunningham. Let's go.
In duly focusing on a single player, this is a hard foul tale that could have gone viral in only one news cycle and somehow developed into a series.
See what happened when this young lady got ejected from a WNBA game the other day for a flagrant foul on Sophie Cunningham? Did y'all see that? She got ejected from the game for that flagrant foul right there. And I'll be damned if that wasn't a flagrant too. She mugged her. Damn near came across like decapitating her, for crying out loud. That was definitely a hard foul. Make no mistake about it. Nobody can argue about it. You can say what you want. We know what we saw. No way around it. The Dijonai Carrington foul was clearly unnecessary. It was a flagrant foul penalty too. It was absolutely positively correct call. It was called the flagrant 2. That's a flagrant 2 every single damn time in the NBA and the W.
Late in the first quarter of a Chicago Sky versus Indiana game that was broadcast nationally, Sophie Cunningham, who had a fever, set off on a fast break for what ought to have been a simple layup. Rather, DJ Carrington emerged from behind and struck her in the head and neck, causing Cunningham to fall to the ground. IT was examined by officials, and the call was also raised to a severe foul penalty, which is the type of contact penalty that the league deems unnecessary. And over the top, Carrington was immediately expelled, and the broadcast cameras capture her leaving with a look that implied she was aware that this person would follow her around for some time.
Dijonai Carrington tweeted out white privilege from the locker room of a game that she was playing in. Get this, she fouled Sophie Cunningham hard. Sophie Cunningham, obviously a white person, fouls her hard. Flagrant 2, gets ejected, goes to the locker room and tweets out white privilege in the middle of the game. Now here's the kicker to me. A flagrant 2 has to be contact that can lead to an injury that looks excessive. Dijonai, it was about as excessive as possible. If there was any evidence of there being white privilege, this was not.
Now, minutes after being escorted, DJ Carrington had to make a decision, and she made the incorrect one very immediately. Before she had even made it to the locker room, she was off the court. She tagged the Fever in a social media post about white privilege. Directly, just 2 strong words tossed into a national topic with no background or justification. Cunningham's name was already associated with it from a different tale involving transgender athletes in sports for women. After that, Carrington shared the date of the upcoming Sky Fever game along with a happy photo. Facial emoji, which many saw as more like someone prodding the bear than an accident. Intentionally.
Say that this is black privilege, to be totally honest with you, because her posting this white racist comment right after assaulting Sophie Cunningham on the court is actually black privilege, because she knows the WNBA won't do a single thing of significance about it. And imagine if the roles were reversed. If Sophie made a comment similar to this, then she'd likely never play again. And actually, we just saw this from Coach Sandy Brondello. She got disciplined for making, I believe, a pretty innocent, maybe, offhand comment about talking about Angel Reese and saying that she's a protected species. She was suspended and disciplined. And I think if that's the standard, then Dijon.
It's a serious one once it's made public. You can't take it back completely, regardless of how you later attempt to explain it.
Is this all some sort of bizarre PR strategy to attract eyeballs, or is the WNBA fundamentally broken?
No. That's you, because you're a good person trying to find some kind of rational reason for doing this other than what it is. It's pure and simple racism and hate. They're mad that the best player in the league is a heterosexual white woman. Let's just be honest. She's not one of the confidants in their creed. And so therefore it's been a concentrated effort to go after her. Even her head coach doesn't stand by her. So, and I think it's hilarious, and at the same time, they don't know what a woman is. And I'm very proud of Freedom and other gentlemen for finding out who they are. And I wish them the best. And hopefully the league will, since it's an all tolerant league and their head coaches wear shirts about trans women count. Well, here's two. And I hope they give them their opportunity, and the young lady in France as well. So I think it's a league that has got away with being racist and disgusting to people. And now they're, Americans are smart to it. So hopefully they get some of their own, but I wouldn't let.
My daughters watch it. The post did not remain contained. In a matter of hours, it went viral on basketball social media. And the narrative shifted from one about a hard foul to one about race, purpose, and if Carrington was utilizing a somber expression to mask a filthy play. At this point, her entire predicament began to worsen. Because the topic of discussion shifted from an obvious foul that could happen to anyone to whether Dijonai Carrington had just made unfounded accusations of bias against the officiating crew and, consequently, the league. It was picked up by national outlets. The following morning, it was discussed on sports talk shows, and none of that coverage was. Not too much about basketball anymore.
Are paying attention to what Dijonai Carrington did to Sophie Cunningham, it was not a race-based decision. And to call that a white privilege-based foul is to completely undermine the term of white privilege and to also completely ignore the rules in basketball. You hit her in the head, you drew blood, you didn't connect with the ball at all whatsoever. So to me, it was just very ignorant and to some degree asinine by Dijonai Carrington to suggest that that call was based on white privilege. Have we seen examples of white players make that same foul and get away with it? Yes. Have we seen examples of black players make that same foul and get away with it? Yes. There was no white privilege involved in that specific call. Dijonai, you hit her in the head and you drew blood.
Then someone became aware of the backlash. Emmanuel Aiko, a former NFL player and media personality, went it alone. Display and set the post on fire. You struck her in the head. You started the bleeding. You made no contact with the ball. Aiko argued that framing that particular foul as a result of white privilege was really naive and, in his words, foolish. In sports media, that is a heavyweight on tape disparaging a WNBA player using terms like ignorant and asinine. Days following her expulsion, that's not just any old troll on the internet. Carrington's assessment is being made by someone with a legitimate platform, on trial in front of a sizable crowd. And if that kind of video becomes viral, it turns into the soundbite that keeps a player around for a lot longer than the initial foul would have on its own. And this is where Dijonai Carrington schooling at Stanford and stating that she would never employ such a phrase as a rhetorical weapon without proof for it. She is simultaneously defending her right to use it and saying she never meant it that way. The expression and making fun of the man who chastised her. It's not clear. That's perplexity disguised as confidence. And nearly no one was satisfied, not even those who were pursuing her or those who were protecting her. If anything, it exacerbated the initial controversy by adding a second one since the topic was now about more than simply the initial piece focused on how hostile and ambiguous her reaction to simple criticism had been. Supporters who could have provided her the benefit of the doubt when the foul itself began to turn against her during this particular conversation. Because it seemed more like someone attempting to win an argument she had already won than someone clearing up a misunderstanding. Lost the instant she sent the initial post.
Every single game for the rest of the season counts. And the fact that she let her hate and her ego cost the game for her entire team is so toxic. It goes to show that she has very little respect for her teammates because they all work their absolute asses off. They've all got something to prove. They know that, they started the season with all this hype. They didn't kick it off very strong. And so they have all been working their asses off, coming together, playing patiently. When I say patiently, they've been playing patiently, learning how to actually run the court together. There's a lot of new pieces. There's been some injuries. There's been people returning from injury. There's been a lot of changes. The fact that they were just on the rise, and as a FIV fan, I can say they were actually schooling us in the first quarter. They came back when we were up 8 points. Dijonai herself was bawling out, and she just cost the game for her team.
Stating merely that she'd previously talked to those who could possess the agency to bring about the change she desires, without ever providing a clear explanation who she was referring to or the true meaning of the message that I end 3 days, 3 distinct explanations. A viral piece about white privilege that seemed to have little to do with the harsh foul, which was simply her competitive attitude. The foul, as well as a subsequent tweet supporting the exact post that she now claims had nothing to do with it. A bad week might become a terrible reputation because of that kind of shifting target due to reporters. The same thing is noticed simultaneously by brand partners and fans, and no one was able to identify a reliable narrative from her, and each attempt to clarify it simply raised a new query that no one had yet to pose.